So we have
There we
Paul
go.
with us from Edge. So welcome, Paul. How are you?
Doing really well, Chinmay. Thanks so much for having us on the spaces. Thanks for joining on this. Really excited to be able to chat about, this integration that we've got. So, and thanks for everyone else who's joining in, listening on.
Absolutely. So let me just bring in the Polygon official channel as well, so that we
Sure,
see
sure.
more people joining in. And it is
Awesome.
such
Yeah,
an
that would be great.
amazing, absolutely. And it is such an amazing day. Like we just had our first Polygon ecosystem DAO Twitter space just an hour ago, and people were so excited that the space, the overall crypto space, is growing so much, and we have so much to do with like with all these crypto exchanges and how the space is emerging overall. So it's just so great to just wake up daily and looking at the space growing so fast, and being a part of this space just excites me daily, and I love doing this. Thank you so much
I
for
know
being
I've
a
been,
part of this.
no, for sure. Happy to be a part of it. I've been in the space now for, gosh, 8, 9 years. And I got to admit, of all the different things I've done in my life and career, this is one of the few fields that just keeps me driven and passionate on a day by day basis because I feel like it's one of the most disruptive and positive change driving industries. So I hear you completely, Chinmay. And hopefully this continues going on until it's no longer an industry. It's just part of the world. Just like the internet is no longer an industry. Can't wait for that moment.
Right, right, right. So I believe the official Polygon channel is up as well. So we should see more people joining in. Uh, by the
Awesome.
time by the time people joins in, I would love to know your background. Like, how did you start
Yeah.
your career in the crypto?
Got it, got it. So I got started, as I'd mentioned, about 8, 9 years ago. Now that was, that was 2013. And I had heard about Bitcoin through a financial blogger. He was one of those like, hey, I want to zig when Wall Street zags. And one day he suddenly just said, I bought a little bit of Bitcoin, added it to the portfolio. I actually subscribed to his blog. I actually paid money to subscribe to his blog because he would just say what his portfolio contained. Not how much, but percentages. And he mentioned Bitcoin. I said, well, what's that? Couldn't find it on my E-Trade account. Went and did a little bit of research and went down the deep, deep rabbit hole. And unlike many people, I didn't put it down and suddenly like come back to it a year later when the price went up. I heard about it, got into it, and then I became what I call kind of probably one of my worst employees at the job I was at because all I could do is listen to podcasts and read blog articles and news articles. And at the time, there was pretty much one podcast, and I listened to every episode. Can you imagine doing that today? Listening to every episode of on crypto, it's impossible. There's more content being generated, like we're doing right now, than one could listen to. And then, I'd say that was the kickstart of everything. And from then on, I just really got more and more involved in meetups, conferences, and then eventually forming this company to really help ease the use of Bitcoin and crypto.
Absolutely. And would also like to know, like, what was the point where you realized, okay, now I have to set up this platform, and
Oh
then
yeah.
the edge came along.
I remember I was starting to co-host the meetups and co-organize the meetups here in San Diego, and they were starting to grow. And a lot of questions that people had was like, "Hey, how do I use some basic tooling, exchanges, wallets, and whatnot?" And I tried to give a demonstration of a desktop wallet I was using at the time that was, it allowed for offline signing and whatnot. And I gave this real presentation, and I realized about 10 minutes in that all of the eyes of people watching, there was only like maybe a dozen people, they were just glazed over. And I said, is it me, and how I teach? But most people say that I've taught pretty well, or is it the product? And I started saying to myself, this product can't be what people use long term. Like this co-signing, plug this USB, write down these words, all of those things just felt so alienating to everyone in the meetup that I said, okay, I think there is a better solution. And I started brainstorming with some of the meetup members who eventually became actually like early bootstrap investors and co-founders and became what is now Edge today. Early on, it was Airbits, which effectively was an app focused on Bitcoin payments, getting people to use Bitcoin, pay at merchants and stores, pay each other, had NFC and Bluetooth payments. But the key differentiator in Airbits, which we carry into Edge, which is relevant to all the users of Matic that want to use Edge, is that the key management is so much simpler than what you'll see in most every other application. You don't deal with having to write down 24 words, put it in a safe place, make sure no one sees it. Instead, you create what feels like an account, but it is client-side encrypted, Nobody sees your keys, not even people at Edge, but you feel like you're using a standard, you know, web or mobile app without the complexity of crypto, but you still get your own autonomy, your privacy, um, and the ability to transact on many different networks.
Right. And all right, so I think we have a couple of people joined with us already. So I think it's a good time to dive into the platform, and
Yeah.
would love to know if you were to summarize the project in few words, how would that go?
Our tagline is a self-custody exchange. That's kind of the title of what we build. Self-custody, for those that are maybe new to that term, is simply that you hold your own keys, you hold your own assets, and you control a much higher level of your own privacy. But now you have similar ability to all of these centralized exchanges in that you can buy, sell, and trade dozens, hundreds of different assets. And we combine many different exchange partners into one application, seemingly allowing people to find the best price when they want to swap, for example, Bitcoin to Matic or Matic to ETH. As well, allow people to get into crypto from the fiat world with almost about half a dozen different exchange partners around the world. Actually, where are you based over, Chinmay? We didn't quite cover the little quick introductions because maybe that could be relevant to what areas we cover.
Absolutely. So I am based out of Indore, India. So,
Okay, cool.
so in India, so like you just mentioned, there is a entry to barrier with the whole crypto space, with exchanging the fiat to crypto, and like a lot of people are not able to wrap their heads around to how they do that. And I've been in Matic since a year now, and I just like to post each and everything, each and every development that we have, and people
Nice.
just go like, how do you do that? Like it's so complicated. I want to get involved, but they always find this barrier that's holding them back, whether it's security, whether it's legalization, whatever. Uh, but I just
Yeah.
try to highlight all the positive sides of things, uh, like Edge. So I just recommend softwares like these, which can help them understand the process a bit better and in an easy way. So
Got it.
that is something where I come from.
So it's perfect. So India, just like many of the countries that Edge supports, can actually soon buy and sell crypto directly from fiat. So we actually had support in India, but as you probably know, India got really, really strict and clamped down regulatory. It shut down a lot of exchanges. Well, our exchange partner as well had to shut down, although they're now back up and we're now in testing for India support. So a lot of people in India will be able to buy several different cryptocurrencies, maybe not Matic yet at this point in time, but they'll easily be able to buy, for example, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then within Edge convert that into Matic, all without having to leave the app. And I think that might be what's alienating a lot of people that you're talking about is they may be introduced to crypto but asked to use several different apps. So maybe this exchange to acquire crypto, maybe this wallet for them to store and send and receive, and maybe another one to do smart contract transactions, which obviously are very, very valuable in Matic. Right, to be able to interface and take out loans and borrow and stake and whatnot. So I think that might be what alienates a lot of people, and our goal being to bring that together into one application where you can do all the above, onboard from fiat, right, from credit card, bank transfers, and sometimes cash, sell as well in many regions around the world, exchange between different assets, and then as well interact with smart contracts and dApps. We support Wallet Connect on Ethereum, Matic, and several other chains, allowing people to use a lot of the dApps that are now migrating over to Matic. And once again, congratulations for that. You're really getting a lot of the ecosystem moved over into much faster, cheaper layer 2.
Absolutely. And would also love to dive into the platform. And so please tell us what this platform has to offer. What are its features? How is it different from its competitors? As well as
Yeah.
what is the basic difference with your platform and the centralized and decentralized exchanges?
Got it, got it. So in a way, I'll take it in reverse order. So what's the difference between our platform and decentralized exchanges? Decentralized exchanges are protocols, right? They're the protocol on a blockchain or on multiple blockchains that allow people to swap between assets. Edge is an interface. So it's an application, it's not a protocol. It actually interfaces with decentralized exchanges. It also interfaces with more centralized exchanges. But the one thing that we make sure of is no matter which exchange we interface with, those exchanges don't hold your money long term. It's only a pass-through, meaning money might flow through a decentralized exchange or a centralized exchange, but you're not depositing your money there and then having to withdraw it. So that enables people to keep their funds and their account really in one application, not have to deal with sending to, okay, now withdraw, and then creating multiple accounts. Um, as well, one of the going back to something I'd mentioned early on about key management, this is easily the biggest differentiator in Edge versus all of our competitors is how we do key management. People are used to writing down 24 words, and that's what backs up their funds across all the different assets. So you've got your Matic, your 24 words which generate your Matic wallet, your ETH wallet, maybe your Bitcoin wallet. In Edge, we take the 24 words, they're generated, but they're automatically encrypted with a user's credentials, their username, password, strongly encrypted, strongly hashed, and then they're backed up to the cloud, which we host, and it's automatically IP validated, two-factor at the touch of a button. No need for SMS, no email. We don't collect any personal information to use Edge. Maybe our exchange partners collect personal information, but none of that goes to us. And then if you lose your phone, you just simply log in on another device. Unlike the 24 words, if you write down your password and somebody sees it, you're still protected because it's automatically IP validated, and at the touch of a button, you can even fully two-factor. All of that lends you a much higher level of security for the default user, right? That might be new to crypto than most of the other solutions. And the nice thing too is how many people out there have private keys for half a dozen different wallets that they then have to write down all of them. With Edge, every wallet is a separate private key, but you don't have to back up each one. So you can actually import your private key from, say, a MetaMask that you might have generated for access to Matic or a trust. Import that into Edge, and all of it's encrypted into one big bundle. So you pick one really good, strong password, enable 2FA, and it's almost like a key manager across all of your crypto. In comparison, other apps, if you create a new wallet inside the app with a new set of keys, you have to back that key up separately. For us, all of those are backed up together inside of one account, so you can use it to also secure keys that you have in other apps and other wallets. So that's one of the key differentiators. It strikes the balance of usability yet security, and still has a good breadth of functionality in specifically exchange, because we're trying to compete with centralized exchanges, really is our competition. So we have to give a user experience that's comparable, and that user experience is, hey, just create an account and log in.
Absolutely. So as the interface, Edge must have a lot of users doing a lot of transactions, and with these transactions comes gas fees. So
Oh yeah.
so if I were to get that topic in, so how is that challenge being countered with the Ethereum gas fees being so high,
Yeah.
and how Edge is facilitating that?
Got it. It has been a challenge. I think there's no good answer. I think full block networks will never provide a user experience that the fiat world does, right? As far as paying fees. Once there is a bidding war of getting into a block, and a block that doesn't confirm, immediately, you'll never know how much to pay. You always make your best guess, but just like an auction, you're never guaranteed to win it. You just kind of hope. And so things that we've done to make paying gas fees on Ethereum a little bit easier is the ability to accelerate a transaction. I don't think I see this in too many apps. This is another great feature that we've had, is you send your transaction on ETH, and while it's unconfirmed, at the tap of a button, you can accelerate it, which would basically double the gas fee that you paid. Right. So, and then if that doesn't confirm well, you can tap it again. Right now, you can't do a slider to determine the exact gas fee, but we just basically double the gas fees. And then eventually you'll have a high enough gas fee that'll confirm. Because otherwise it's a bit of a pain having to take the transaction, probably put it in a more power user level wallet, recreate the transaction payload, make sure the nonce is the same, then change the gas fee, and then send out the transaction. It can definitely be a challenge. So I haven't seen this widely across most any other app, and that is right inside of Edge. So you can accelerate a transaction on Ethereum, on Matic, on any other network. Shouldn't be much of a problem on Matic, but definitely on Ethereum it's a challenge. And really, to kind of answer that question more thoroughly, one of the things we're doing to alleviate the problem is supporting other chains such as Matic, which offloads on Ethereum and gives the users a much faster, cheaper experience across arguably some of the same popular dApps. And so, this is why we value the protocol that you guys have built and have put, some good effort into integrating it alongside with buy and sell functionality and dApp functionality.
Right. And with this sort of interface, the user experience is always kind of a challenge. So how easy it is to get into the platform? Like you just mentioned that you can just 2FA with the tap of a button. So what experience? What might be the experience for buying, selling, and the whole interface?
Got it. So buying and selling from fiat is arguably still the most difficult, and I think this is true across all exchanges. You have to pretty much go through centralized services. You have to KYC by and large. Although for any of the listeners out there that happen to be based in Europe, Edge does let people buy Bitcoin up to $1,000 per day without KYC from your bank account. And I think that's a rare occurrence. You just don't really see that in this day and age. So that is one thing that we do support. Otherwise, if you want to buy with a credit card, a bank account in the U.S., soon in India, you'll be able to buy from fiat with typical payment transfers. I believe UPI, it's called, as a common payment method in India. That will require some KYC, but the process is you go into Edge. There's two big buttons at the very bottom, buy and sell. You tap one of those, you say what region you're in, right? You just pick a country. It'll show you the different payment methods that are supported. So different regions obviously have different payment methods supported. You pick one of the payment methods, and it will go into a plugin for one of our partners. There you'll provide your KYC information, much like you would if you were at a Coinbase or a Kraken. And then the beauty of this integration is that typically, if you think about it, when you use a separate exchange and you want to buy Bitcoin or you want to buy Matic, you want to buy ETH, in order for that exchange to send it to your wallet, you have to copy your address and then paste it into the exchange, right? Or if you want to sell, you have to scan a QR code in the exchange or copy the exchange address and put it in the wallet to send money to the exchange. In Edge, that's 100% invisible, right? There's an automatic exchange of your address or the exchange's address between the wallet and the exchange, and all you're doing is confirming the transaction. And if it's a sell, the funds go from Edge to the exchange, and then you receive back the funds that you're supposed to receive back. And if it's a purchase, you automatically send the address to the exchange, and then you receive funds on that address. So that is one of the core benefits of this tight integration, is you don't feel like you have two different apps that you're having to deal with and create accounts for. And yes, when you integrate with these exchanges, you don't have to create a password for them. So Edge, being a key manager, right? We encrypt keys. We can also encrypt credentials to the exchanges. So the password to the exchange partners that we have, or the key to authenticate you with them, is generated and automatically encrypted with your credentials, just like your private keys, stored there and automatically sent back and forth as needed when you go through the process of buying and selling. So you don't feel like you have two accounts, you feel more like you have one.
Right. And just for our audience, I would just like to remind that the website is right into the title, which is edge.app. So I recommend that you go and check that out. And do consider following their social media channels. It will be right there on the website. And for my next question, what made you come to Polygon?
Got it. So, I mean, really, you kind of touched on it, is the fact that the Ethereum network was just getting hammered with fees and delays. Things were just getting really, really expensive. And I'm an avid user of dApps. I actually do use one of the more popular dApps on Matic, which is also an Ethereum, Aave. And understanding that I'd have to pay, and I've had to pay hundreds of dollars in fees to take out a loan, or even to just top up the loan. Basically, if loan collateral starts to go down, you want to add more collateral so you don't get liquidated. Well, that process costs hundreds of dollars. And so looking at the different chains that achieved a higher level of scaling, easily Polygon is at the top of the list, no question about it. And especially the fact that there are simple bridges to go between the two was very, very exciting. So it's its success in driving a lot of the dApps onto the chain. It's definitive, much lower cost fees, faster transactions are the biggest reason that drove me to Polygon. And definitely it's definitely caught a lot of people by storm. I remember even my wife, who is a dentist, not in the crypto space at all, saying when we integrated Polygon, she says, "Oh, great! I can transfer my Matic now," because she'd had it before I had even acquired any. So I think the team, the project have successfully really brought themselves into what I call not a household name, but a crypto household name. That a lot of people that even skim the surface of crypto have heard of, understand, if not are widely using. And so I'm about the usability. I don't subscribe to the rhetoric that, oh, it's okay for fees to be high. We just then have to build these weird convoluted solutions. I'm about giving people a good user experience where fees are significantly lower and transactions are fast, and trying to find where that compromise is. And so happy that Matic has been successful at doing that, and hence why I'm happy to support it and really drive it forward. And not just the integration we have today, but integrations down the line much deeper with dApps on Polygon.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oops.
And like you have
Was
been in
audio
this
here?
industry. Sorry, I was on the mute.
Oh, got it. Okay, good. It wasn't me.
So you have been in this industry for a long time, and in the journey so far, what do you think are some of your biggest achievements?
The biggest achievement, so it's really alongside the security model. Our biggest achievement are our one-touch two-factor authentication. I think this was a big one because when we implemented two-factor, or when we wanted to implement two-factor, we said, well, how do you recover from two-factor if you don't have someone's email or phone number, right? So some people do the Google Authenticator, but what happens if you lose that Google Authenticator key that's got the 6 digits, you've lost that phone or whatnot? How do you recover? The typical way is you get an email or a phone number, or a phone or a text message from that company, and then you have a delay. Like you have to wait maybe a day or whatnot. And the email phone number being a recovery mechanism wasn't possible for us. Right? We strictly did not want to collect personal information tied to our encrypted edge accounts. And so we decided to implement a time delay. And time is a very common security model. And we haven't seen this in the world of kind of two-factor before, where you don't need a separate app. There's no Google Authenticator, and Edge and the Authenticator app are baked into one. That's one of our innovations that we had built. And then the recovery mechanism with no personal information was simply a time delay. And so it's a week time delay if you have to recover your two-factor and you've fully lost your phone and you didn't back up the code. And that still lets people get into their account. Like, all is not lost, but it does protect them in case an attacker gets their credentials. They have a week to block them out, and they'll get a notification every day, once a day, every day. So that in combination with our IP validation really, really hardens the security. As well, if you think about it, who's used cryptography tools in the past to encrypt data? Not too many people, but what happens if you lose the password to that encrypted data? It's gone, right? You lose that password, it's, maybe you could try to brute force it, but otherwise you've lost access to that information. And so we also have password recovery in Edge. And this is something this could be an easy rabbit hole on how it works. I invite some of the more technical people to check out our white paper on edge.app to understand better how password recovery works. But it's much inspired by multisig, where the key to decrypt your account, that decrypt all the keys inside of your account, there's one that's created that's broken in half, and one that sits with Edge, and one that the user emails to themselves. We don't see it, right? They send it to themselves. And then they set up a couple personal questions and answers. So if they ever lose their password, they simply can get the questions out, get the questions from Edge, decrypt them on their phone, answer them. Those answers go back to Edge to get one of the keys. The other key comes from their email. You put them together, they can then log in and decrypt their account. So those are some of the unique innovations that we have built outside of just simply, what asset do you support, what chain, exchange. We really want to bring true usability to crypto, and really eliminate, this is one of my goals, eliminate that darn 12, 24 word seed that a user has to see. Make it where they still own it, control their funds, but they never have to deal with anything that's that alienating compared to what they do in a normal financial service app. So that's probably, those are 2 or 3 of our biggest innovations.
That's really cool, absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
With the whole user experience and the whole setup of this interface, what do you think are some of the biggest challenges that you have faced so far?
Ironically, one of the biggest challenges is that a lot of people in the crypto world who have been there for years get a little alienated by the simplicity. Right? They say, wait. Where's the 24s I'm supposed to have to back up at the very, very beginning? You know? And then I go, it's there, and here's how you can see it if you wanted to. Long tap your wallet, it'll pop up show me my master private key, and you could write it down. Um, but they're like, wait, how come people aren't told to do that? Isn't that dangerous? You're supposed to like, no, it's automatically done for them. So that's easily one of the biggest challenges. From the viewpoint that's unique to Edge, is that we've kind of created an abstraction over the technology, and the people that have rooted their knowledge and their industry, influence on people around the thing that we have abstracted get a little alienated by that. Like, hey, that's what I've been telling people to do for years and years, and suddenly it's gone. I liken this to if anyone out there is old enough to remember the early days of Apple, right? One of the earliest successful Apple computers was the Apple II. And the Apple II was the polar opposite of every Apple product afterwards. The Apple II, floppy disk drive, put it in. As soon as you turn it on, command line, right? Command line. You can open the computer, put cards in it, like a server. Change things like memory and whatnot. It was the power user's computer. And Steve Jobs, he liked that it was a computer, and that at the time there just really weren't computers. But he really hated the fact that the Apple II had all that configurability, because he felt like he wanted something smaller, sleeker, sexier, and simpler to use. He didn't want to deal with a keyboard for everything. And that's when the Mac came out. And a lot of people don't know this, but when the Mac first came out, it alienated a lot of the Apple II users. They said, oh, this thing is terrible, where's my command line? I can't change the RAM, memory, hard drive, there wasn't a hard drive at the time. Couldn't change the internals. I couldn't expand it. I'm locked in. But as we can see today, that prediction panned out long term, is that you take complexity, you have to abstract it. Technology isn't meant to be shown in its raw form to everybody. It's great for the power user, and that's why I love that my Mac allows me to have a command line, but I don't need to use it as a normal user. And I take that inspiration pretty strongly when we build Edge, is that we want to build things that, sure, maybe the power user gets their little nuggets, but they shouldn't have to use it. We'd love chains where we don't have to deal with accelerate transaction and picking custom fees. That to me is like command line. Custom fee selection. We want someone to say, hey, I want to send this amount of money. Here's how much it'll cost. Off it goes. So that's, once again, kind of answer your question, that's been some of the challenges and the people that are alienated, that get alienated by that experience. But I think the 99% of us will feel it. That's much more normal.
Right. So with all this, like you have worked so hard throughout these years, what is your current focus on?
Our focus is definitely, at least going into 2022, focused into the DeFi space. And this is why I'm so excited about Matic. Our big goal is that we'd really, really like to integrate DeFi directly into our app. So that way people aren't having to wallet connect out to another application. They're not having to transfer funds back and forth. They can do the exchange to get whatever asset they want and need directly inside of Edge, and then use or get of a specific DeFi product without having to leave Edge. So for example, taking out a loan.
Take out a loan or depositing funds for yield. Those type of products we found to be very, very valuable. Something that a lot of people really appreciate.
Having to do that so separately, and even a Wallet Connect, which we're excited to integrate, when you're using it, it's still not a great experience to the end user. It's good for now, but you're integrating all of that, being able to do something like take out a loan and off right inside of the app. That's pretty much our goal for 2022, is that type of DeFi integration, and Matic is going to be a key part of that.
Absolutely. And with Aave bringing on app for mobile, that's also going to be
very
crazy.
exciting. Yep, exactly. Yep. So yeah, I'd love to get a little bit of your take on some of the angles that Matic has taken to solve some of the problems in the industry. And so, what would you think were some of the main challenges for Ethereum? That face Ethereum today. Probably, what were the challenges maybe like a year ago, and then how would you change that to where they are today and their progress?
Absolutely. So, with the simplest of example, like if you were to mint an NFT, which is still a problem for a lot of users. So, a lot of artists or and like similar kinds of community who wanted to get into this NFT space, they were facing a lot of issues with the higher gas fees, and
Good gas fees, yeah.
since adoption is the whole wide spectrum goal for Polygon, like all of the leadership team is very focused on adoption and bringing on more users to this ecosystem. uh, if you wanted to do that, like first of all, whenever a users get into this space, they'll get scared of the gas fees and they'll never come back.
Yeah,
But
unless they're a
then
huge whale.
right, absolutely. So in kind of in a way, like the space was just saturating with single category of people who wanted to be in this space, and not new users who are like will join the space if there are so many barriers with the gas fees and scalability. And even for the developers, this was kind of hard to create a product that has hardly hundreds of users. But then
Got it.
with all these scaling solution, we have like so many ZK solutions lined up right for them. We have Polygon SDK, we have Nightfall, Maiden, Polygon Zero, and so many solutions for a lot of categories now. So that if a developer wants to have retail users, uh, we can have Polygon POS chain, and if institutions want to get in, we have SDK, which provides a sovereignty chain for them. There are so many different angles to what Polygon is working on, and to solve these issues with Ethereum and a lot of things which come with barriers to entry. We have faster transaction, lower gas fees, and an amazing ecosystem to be in, with all these dApps onboarding to Polygon, and interoperability, and all these apps which can be used, like Edge can use Aave can use SushiSwap, they can use Curve, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the ecosystem which we envision for the future. And like I started with the NFT example, so now people can mint their NFTs in fraction of cents, and they can start building their communities, they can start selling their art, they can experience the whole ecosystem and the whole space. Okay, what the buzz is around the NFTs, I want to get in to this, and how would I do that? So we have NFT minters, we have so many NFT marketplaces set up for them, we have so many exchanges, taxes. So Polygon is moving into all the direction in the same time with the same efficiency. We have DeFi covered with Aave, SushiSwap, Curve, Balance, and everyone. And then we have NFTs, and we are targeting the top shots, celebrities, and so many games already onboarded to Polygon. So these are some of the things which Polygon is solving.
That's awesome. You mentioned NFTs, and I know that there's a fairly easy to use bridge to bring assets over from Ethereum onto Polygon. Is that true as well for NFTs? And if not, is that on the roadmap where people can basically lock an NFT on the Ethereum chain and then bridge it over into Matic?
Absolutely. I think there is a NFT bridge which is active right now, which is mint.nft.today. So it is basically a Polygon minter with which, if you have minted your NFT onto Polygon or Ethereum, you can swap it between Ethereum and Polygon.
Oh, that's awesome. Absolutely. So really trying to make it seamless for people to get onto the platform if they're already on the more expensive one today. For people that might say that they're afraid to kind of move from Ethereum to Polygon, what would you give those users? What kind of information, or what would you say to them to alleviate that concern?
So if users wanted to come to Polygon from Ethereum, that is just a one-time process with the gas fees and the bridging their assets. If not, there are so many fiat on ramps already, with which you can skip the Ethereum path and you can directly onboard your funds from your bank account to the Polygon network.
Oop.
And
Lost the audio here.
just a second, I think I.
Still there, Chinmay?
So yeah, I was saying if
There we go.
people wanted to skip, yeah. So if people wanted to skip the Ethereum path, so there are fiat on ramps which from which you can directly onboard to layer 2 Polygon and use the ecosystem. So there is MoonPay, Ram.network, and so many other on ramping softwares. We have Dharma onboarded with Polygon, which is kind of popular in US. And
Which one was that called?
Dharma.
Threadma?
Dharma, Dharma.
Ah, Dharma. Got it. Okay. Got it. Sorry.
Right.
Okay.
So with all these softwares, it is really easy to get into the Polygon ecosystem, and you can skip the base from Ethereum.
Got it. Now, one thing I do get asked on occasion is, what has Polygon done specifically? Because everyone, to the end user, Polygon just feels like Ethereum, other than the fees, right? Compatibility is there. It feels like it's an EVM chain. Smart contracts port over very simply. But what has Polygon underneath the covers done to make it potentially scale better than Ethereum if it were to get the same amount of transaction volume? So that's one of the challenges. A lot of people think that chains feel like they're fast and cheap because they don't have the same volume as the bigger chains like Bitcoin and Ethereum. But then once they get the big volume, will they end up having the same fees and potentially longer transaction times? What has Polygon done to kind of scale EVM chains that Ethereum hasn't gotten to?
Right. So for that, all the scaling softwares which have just lined up. So with that, the main focus for Polygon right now is to just provide simplicity for the developers and an ecosystem which they can use for their users. And in a way, the more developers are onboarded to Polygon because of the gas fees, low gas fees, higher transaction. So we kind of see a growth in the community and the ecosystem overall. So if you were to say why would someone choose Polygon over Ethereum? So it's not just about the gas fees, but also the ecosystem and also the community which is responding to those dApps, responding to those applications, and it is much more easier for them to use the experience which Polygon is providing.
Got it. Okay. Anything on the roadmap that might even set it apart from Ethereum that is coming up over the next year in 2022?
I think we've just set up with the Polygon DAO, and for the roadmap, it is really hard to say because the team is working so hard to bring and to solve a lot of issues, and I'm not sure where this can turn into. So it is really hard to say, but I'm sure with what I can personally feel is with the SDK and with the ZK rollups, it is really it will really become easier and easier for more people to onboard and more developer to create better and better solutions and better applications on Polygon. And we have already seen DeFi emerge into gamify and all these different categories intertwining with each other. Like we are seeing games which provide incentives and NFTs, and the product emerged from DeFi to NFT to gaming, all in a single product. So we will see more complex smart contracts built on Polygon with this, and I'm sure the coming years will be more exciting and more fruitful for Polygon.
No, for sure. I'm definitely excited about what the kind of DeFi, the DApp, and NFT community is going to be building on there. I like that you'd mentioned there's actual SDKs to use some of the more advanced functionality on chain, such as ZK rollups. I mean, those are not easy. That's not easy cryptography to deal with. That's the stuff that's over my head. Even as a developer, I can understand basic cryptography, but once you start getting into zero knowledge proofs, ZK snarks, as an average developer, you're probably going to want some tooling to help you out with that. So, that being in some of the SDKs for Polygon, actually, that could easily set it apart from Ethereum because now you're kind of not really locking people in, but you're giving them a nudge to say, hey, you use these SDKs, you get some of these benefits that you might not get on other chains. So that's super awesome to hear. And so I know, hey, should we also open up to any questions from the audience in case people have any?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So
Okay, so
if
if anyone has any.
anyone has, yeah, absolutely. If anyone has any question, please hit request. I'll take you guys up. And by the way, if you haven't checked the website already, it is edge.app. So please head on to the website.
Yeah, definitely check us
I
out.
guess we have.
Let us. Did we have a question coming through? Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, hi. Do we have any visibility on, STO's security tokenization from Polygon? Any roadmap plan for that?
Sorry, I didn't get you. Can you repeat that?
From Polygon side, is there any roadmap for security tokenization?
Oh, security tokens.
Oh, right.
Yes.
I'm sure
Yeah.
the team. I'm sure the team is working on it. But there is no news as such for the community. But do follow our official channel, and we'll notify you as soon as we get there.
Yeah, and if anything, I think Matic already has support for security tokens. It's about the protocols actually using it, because it's all the programmability is there and able for the existing security token protocols to port over, much like you have protocols such as Aave porting over. You just need those protocols for security tokens coming over, and especially the security token exchanges. But as a protocol, it's ready for it, in my understanding. And correct me if I'm wrong.
Right.
So especially creating a layer for regulations for every kind of different country. So the regulations play an important role on security tokens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the major picture. So Polygon is already supporting, NFTs and creating tokens or as such, but those are all kind of unregulated from different countries, especially India. Take an example of India. So I would like to see that because we are working more on kind of converting illiquid assets, example real estate,
Right.
by utilizing blockchain. By security tokens. That's a huge advantage from the Polygon side if they've introduce in their roadmap sooner or later.
Right. Absolutely.
Go ahead, Zeb.
All right, we've got a couple others. Jeff?
Oh yeah, okay, sorry. I had a question about the Edge app. I saw the banner at the top that says you can get Polygon Matic on Edge, and so I was curious if you're talking about buying Polygon on the Matic mainnet directly.
Got it. So we'll be supporting very soon, probably in the next few weeks, buying USDC through a partner, MoonPay, directly from fiat. So that you'll be able to do. They don't yet support Matic itself as a token, but I'm sure that's coming up pretty soon. Otherwise, it would be swapping into Matic from other assets. But rest assured, we're actually working with, the reason why we work with so many of these exchange partners is that we want to drive support for the assets that we have. And so initially, it's swap support. Soon, people at least be able to purchase USDC, and then we're working closely with partners to be able to purchase Matic directly. So Matic, the token itself, directly. So not yet, but definitely keep an eye out, and we'll have that up and running.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, the only place where you can get Matic on the Matic mainnet, Polygon on the Matic mainnet directly is on MoonPay, because traditionally, if you're getting it on Coinbase or Binance or wherever, you would have to bridge it from Ethereum over to Polygon, and so that's just another hurdle for getting people onboarded.
Exactly.
That if you can buy it directly,
correctly, which is why
Right,
definitely we
right.
definitely want partners that can onboard to these assets more directly because of that hurdle. So no question about it. And I know that one of the most commonly used assets on Polygon, especially with people using Aave, is USDC, and hence I think that's the reason why they had onboarded that first. But we should have Matic support directly in short order. One of the challenges that we're finding actually in getting people to support Matic, the token, is that Matic, the ERC20 token on Ethereum existed first. And so a lot of exchanges are supporting Matic, the ERC20 token, and are a little bit late to convert to supporting Matic, the native mainnet chain token. That's one thing that we're having to push forward, and hopefully this integration today motivates a lot of them to support that going forward, because in a way they've got other exchanges that they're competing against. So competition is healthy. We're seeing companies like MoonPay integrate at least a token on Matic, and then hopefully others will see that competition and want to be first to market, just like we'd love to be as well, and integrating that inside of Edge.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for answering my question. I'm just looking forward to a direct path that doesn't.
No, absolutely. Yeah, you definitely don't want to be onboarding into Ethereum, paying the gas fees to get into Matic, which then kind of defeats a lot of the purposes of being on it in the first place. So, agree. I totally agree. I'll leave that to Chinmay. I'm not too familiar with any of the integration with Matic and Coinbase. Although when you say from Coinbase to the Matic network, I mean Matic I think is on the Matic network. Maybe I could use a bit of context or clarification. Oh, got it. So being able to purchase the asset directly, that Chinmay might have a better response to. I'm not too familiar with what support is upcoming for other products. Chinmay, are you over there? You able to chime in? We may have lost Chinmay here. Not sure if he had an issue with his connection. Oh. It's possible. It shows that he's still connected. So apologize if there isn't an answer. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm showing the host is having connection issues. Give it a sec. They may reconnect soon. So yeah, give him a sec. Unfortunately, you might not be able to answer that question in the short order. I'll give my best take on it. Is usually we don't hear too many pre-announcements for that, and if it's coming, I'd be shocked if it wasn't. Let's just put it that way. Matic Polygon's a big enough network where people should be able to purchase it on pretty much most exchanges from fiat and send it out directly onto that network without having to convert. So I would, like I said, would be shocked, and if anything, you'll be able to see that soon inside of Edge.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Oh, there you go. How's it going, Chinmay? Any insight on that last question?
Can you please repeat the question?
Oh yeah. Miguel, if you want to go ahead and repeat that question.
So my question was, when you buy, I'm in New York City, so a lot of these apps not work for me. MoonPay and all that is blocked in New York. So I was hoping there would be a way to buy Matic on Coinbase and then send it directly to the Matic network, not have to go through Ethereum. I've heard that that's on the way. I'm not sure if that's true. And also Edge. I wonder if Edge is available in New York. I just know a lot of things are not.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just mentioned Dharma HQ for fiat crypto, onboarding. So that is the app which you can use. It's not blocked in US, so I think that would be probably the best option for you. Which it's just an app. You can just download it, connect it with your bank, and you can do all sorts of transactions with directly onboarding your funds to Polygon.
Can you
Which
repeat
app?
that?
Which app? Yeah, it cut out.
Dharma HQ. Dharma.
Dharma. The DHARMA.
Right. For the Twitter handle,
Can you please spell that?
It is dharma.io.
Cool. Dharma.io. And then to also answer the question, is Edge supported in New York? It is supported in New York, so people can use it to at least they can definitely use the wallet functionality to send and receive, and they can also use the exchange functionality to swap. Purchasing in New York, I don't believe is supported by any of our current partners, but definitely keep an eye out. We do have a partner that is doing all of the due diligence to be able to support New York, and hopefully coming out within hopefully the next quarter or two, but nothing to announce at this point in time. Once again, you can use it to send and receive assets, hold your assets, do DApp functionality through Wallet Connect, as well as swap into and out of Matic and other assets.
Guys, good day.
Hey, hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. I have two questions actually. Is Edge, can we use Edge here in Nigeria? That's the first question. And the second question is there plans to release a token in the future?
Got it. So Edge you can use in Nigeria, similar to my previous answer about New York. You can use it to send, receive, connect to decentralized apps and DeFi. And I don't believe you can purchase anything from fiat in Nigeria. So there may be support via credit card, but not using a native bank account. We did have a partner that was going to support Nigerian bank transfers. Unfortunately, there was some heavy regulation that came down in Nigeria that forced that partner to no longer offer the services. So for now, it's basic send and receive, connectivity with DApp, transactions, and swap functionality that you should be able to do. So yeah, hopefully I answered that question. And then I think you were asking about a native token. Was that specifically a question for Edge? Yeah, so right now, no tokens for us. We're not a protocol. We're not a decentralized app. We're the interface to different protocols and decentralized applications. So we feel like a token wouldn't be very appropriate. If anything, probably in the future, we may issue a security token because we're an equity-based company. We're a standard U.S. company. We have equity. We have investors. And at the time when we feel like it would be appropriate to go public, it would be great to be able to go public and have our shares on a blockchain as a security token. But it's not currently something that we're considering. But definitely, we'd love to support a lot of other tokens on the network, although not really be one ourselves right now.
All right, thank you so much for your questions. Does anyone else has any question?
Okay.
I didn't see any request.
Okay.
But anyways,
We can kind of wrap it up then.
Paul, if I were to ask you what was your future plans, what would that be?
Gosh, my future plans. World domination. No, nothing that severe. Really, I want to see people empowered, and anything that we can do to get people there. So empowered to really not be at the mercy of the current existing financial system, all of the global barriers, the existing banking infrastructure. And so what do we need to do to get there? What's our future plans in that regard? Well, we'd love to hear from the community to get those answers. So we know what our predictions are. We know what the people and our friends and family. One of the challenges we have is that we're so anonymous, we can't really reach out to our users very easily. Sure, we have a newsletter sign-up list, but we can't just go and send people emails that are using Edge. So that privacy and anonymity comes with the challenge of the communication. So we really invite people to communicate with us and let us know what they're looking for in an application like Edge. And also to realize that we have a succinct definition of what we provide. We're a self-custody exchange. So we're not going to provide some of the functionality that you might see in wallet applications. But for people who are looking to buy, sell, and trade, and access decentralized finance, which is in a way, obviously DeFi starts with trading, is a piece of buy, selling, and trading. Let us know what you want. Let us know what you need. Let us know how to be more competitive, especially with the centralized services. So how do I see our future? It's really to get more people to own and control their funds and access services where they do control those funds, and alleviate much of the need of the more centralized services. They're going to continue to exist. I don't think that the Coinbases and the Binances of the world are going to go away. But I'd love to restrict their use to the people that need the high frequency trading, commercial asset trading, to the retail investor, to most of us that buy a little bit, hold our funds, that don't need to be leaving them on the exchange. We don't have to. So what are the features you're looking for as a retail investor? We'd love to hear what those are so we can prioritize those and get those onto the roadmap, or even find solutions to build them if people don't think they're possible today, right? That they need to be on a centralized exchange. So we'd love to build those solutions. Answers of which we're still listening to find out.
Awesome, awesome. And
Great.
yeah, I think with that note, we have come to an end.
Cool.
And just to address, if anyone has still not visited the website, it is edge.app. So you can see it in the title as well. So I recommend you check out the website. And Paul, it has been great to have you on the space with us. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, Chinmay, thank you so much, Tom. Super appreciate the time. Thanks to everyone in the Polygon ecosystem for building out this asset ecosystem, for allowing people to much more easily use cryptocurrency and dApps and DeFi and NFTs. And so, like Chinmay said, definitely check us out, edge.app, do some swaps, get some Matic, connect to some DeFi, and then let us know what you think. Edge.app, and once again, thanks everyone for listening in, and check out the next Twitter Spaces that Polygon's got to offer. I'm sure you guys are going to be doing this with some regularity.
Absolutely. So we do this every day.
Cool.
Hey, I'm so glad that you're joining us now because I'm super bullish on Polygon. I'm ready for Polygon to overtake some L1s this year. Let's go.
Let's go. Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks you so much everyone for being in this space.
All right, take care.
Have a great day, guys.
Take care.